Laura, you good? Howdy, howdy, everyone. How's it going today? I hope everyone's doing well. We're gonna cut that down a little bit. Not that much, but welcome in. Oh, it's great to see you as always. How are you? How's your day going? By the way, this is gonna keep playing that demo music over and over again, so we'll deal with that. But welcome back. It's Thursday. So I have some news about next week that I'm gonna get out of the way real quick. There will be no streams next week. I am somebody at work's going on vacation for the week, and I am splitting the shift with a coworker. So obviously, if I'm at work from 6 p.m. till 6 a.m., I won't be here for my streams. Sorry, that's just Daddy needs the overtime. But that as damper as that is, it's fine. It is what it is. But I do want to get that out of the way right off the bat. I will also make a post about it in the Discord to remind people when it gets closer, but unfortunately that is a thing. But I didn't want to start something new, and then take a week off immediately and all that. So I decided we're doing the Silent Hill play novel, which was a Game Boy Advanced Japanese exclusive game. Some fans have translated it into English, and I watched someone play it once, but have never actually played it myself. From what I understand, it is fucking insane. So, we're gonna check that out tonight. Doing good so far. It's been a pretty good day today. And yours? It was alright. My day was, long and hot. It was a very hot day today. Translating the entire game, holy shit. Yeah. Unfortunately, all of the content for this game is not here. There's a good amount of this that did not survive time. Because part of this was that you would use a device for the Game Boy Advance that would scan cards, and that would give you other scenarios for this. So there's a couple scenarios that just don't exist in this game that were originally in it. It's neat, but that's one of those things that just if you didn't have it downloaded, and very few people did, and most of the time it got deleted when you download the next one, they're kind of lost to history. There are translations and notes about what was in them, but you can't play them, which is a shame. Which is also a good reminder that archival is important. But once this intro movie wraps up, I'll switch to the screen so we can see it for the next one, and then we'll get going. But before I do, as always, you can find me at any one of these, or if you'd prefer, there's easily clickable links right there in the chat. And let's watch this intro movie together now. Which is literally just a more compressed Game Boy Advanced version of the intro movie for Silent Hill. It is charming, and it's weird, crappiness? I don't know how else to put it. I actually don't know what'll happen if we click on any of these. Okay, that just gave me a bunch of weird random Japanese text. This is the card thing. As you can see, there are a bunch of scenarios, cards, I guess, that you would scan. And let's get started. The game upscaled if you're playing on an emulator. I'm actually playing it on the Steam Deck. So it is upscaled to at least 800p. Um, I'm actually not sure what resolution the Steam Deck is outputting for it. Probably 800p, but it doesn't look terrible for the upscaling. It looks a little janky on my monitor, but not horribly so. Let's start with the first one, Harry Mason. This is going to be one of those ones where I'm reading a lot, so best of luck, y'all. It's been a while since I had taken a vacation. I'm driving my Jeep, heading towards the quiet resort town of Silent Hill. The sound of the engine reverberates in the darkness. Due to some slight car trouble earlier, it has become this late. I am Harry Mason. I am a man-of-the-mill writer. A run-of-the-mill writer. Already off to a great start. Her eyes closed, Cheryl sleeps peacefully in the passenger seat. Cheryl is my daughter. She is cheerful and lively, and the occasional carefree smiles she shows makes me feel happy. I don't have very many relationships with people because of what I do for a living, so Cheryl's existence has become irreplaceable to me. Cheryl was very much looking forward to this trip. Yeah, to be fair, it doesn't look bad. Like, I'm getting way more of the quote-unquote CRT scan lines than y'all are, because it's just on a larger screen for me. But, like, it does look, like, fairly good when I'm looking at the OBS preview. Also, this has been translated. It has not been localized. So there's going to be weird phrases and spelling and words that might not make sense in context. Just be forewarned, it is not me stuttering over stuff, it is written weird. Alright, a non-zero amount of it's going to be me stuttering over shit too, but who can judge? Who amongst you could judge me for that? Huh?
Move this man!
That's fair. That's fair. No judgment. Although paved, this is still very much a mountain road. At this hour, there is little reason to do any other there is little reason for any other drivers to be about. I push in the accelerator. There is no light off in the darkness. I can depend only on my headlights. The light reflects off the rearview mirror. It's a motorcycle. There is a motorcycle headed towards the same destination as we are at terrific speed. At this late hour, with a roar, the motorcycle effortlessly passes by the side of my Jeep. The seal of the police. Perhaps there has been an accident or something, but I don't recall hearing about an accident or anything on the radio. Cheryl is sleeping. A child should not be awake at this hour. I wonder if she is dreaming about something. Tomorrow, I have planned to take her to the amusement park. Maybe she's dreaming about riding the merry-go-round. I glance over at Cheryl's sleeping face and then return my eyes forward. The lighted area of the road almost appears to be belched out from the darkness as it moves towards me. Something enters my field of view. It's the motorcycle from just before. It's lying on the shoulder of the road. No doubt about it. It's the same motorcycle that just passed me. There's no sign of the driver. It looks like the driver smashed into the surface of the rocks by the side of the road while trying to avoid some kind of obstacle. And thus, that part of the motorcycle has been destroyed. I carefully check the way in which my vehicle is heading. However, I don't see anything that could be an obstacle to my advance. The area illuminated by the headlights, a strange atmosphere creeps in around me. The radio reception begins to become erratic. Perhaps I should turn back. My foot persistently pushes down on the accelerator, with no intention of letting off. You can no longer turn back now, something murmurs within inside me. Please increase your speed some more, someone murmurs within me. Cheryl's eyes are closed. She is dreaming. I know that I should be awake. Why is this uneasy feeling? I feel as if my body is not totally my own. Like some strange being that is not me, is controlling me. Like I am floating. My eyelids are heavy. As the steering wheel leaves my hand, it creates the illusion of setting the course on its own. Freezing cold. Uneasiness. Almost like being ready to fall asleep. I am just barely conscious and now at my limit to maintain even that. Ah! When I saw the human figure in the road, I cut the wheel hard, and then there was nowhere else for my Jeep and I to go, but down into the darkness below the cliff. So I actually think this does something really good, which is give you the wind up to going to Silent Hill. Silent Hill just starts, and unless you kind of know how to decipher the intro movie, it's kind of just like, well, where am I? What am I doing? And why am I here? Like, it's real easy to miss being in the Jeep accident, you know? But I think that's important. The silence pierces my ears. As the wind blew, it was accompanied by piercing cold. Where am I? Can I can I can feel light faintly passing through my eyelids. I don't seem to be hurt. That much is clear to me, because I don't feel any pain in my body. No, perhaps I've suffered an injury that doesn't cause any pain. I slowly try opening my heavy eyelids. Out of season snow is pouring into the town. Other than the sound of droplets of ice hitting the ground, there is nothing else to be heard. Silent Hill. That is what is assuredly written on the sign on the side of the road. Howdy, Sylvan. How are you today? By the side of the road. Without realizing it, Cheryl and I have reached our destination. All of my memories up to that point are gone. The wind is blowing in. When I take a look next to me, I'm shocked. ASMR horror. ASMR horror stream. Kinda. So, this is the Silent Hill play novel. It is a Japanese only play novel for the Game Boy Advance of Silent Hill, where you use trading cards to download more scenarios. It's kind of like a visual novel. Um, but it it kind of has like a choose your own adventure kind of thing and puzzles. And it goes batshit insane at certain parts, which I'm excited to get to. Right now we're playing Harry's scenario. There's also Sybil and a couple other characters. But this has been translated by fans and put out. But it has not been localized. So we're going to get some janky wordings and phrases, and I'm here for it. Like, I'm with you on that. Like, 100%. Not to exactly parrot what you said, but like... But I figured this would be a fun little, like, bow on the end of Silent Hill. The passenger door has been left open. Cheryl is nowhere to be seen. Silent Hill. This town should just be a resort area. It appears to have become just like a ghost town for some reason. Or maybe it was waiting for us to arrive. Or perhaps the town just nestled up to us. So now I am alone. Cheryl is not here. While I was sleeping, while I was knocked out, Cheryl opened the passenger door and stepped out alone into this tourist spot that is ruled by an unsettling silence. And then she left me to head somewhere. I tightly closed my jacket around my neck, set off on foot in search of Cheryl. I wonder what in the world happened here. Nothing makes any sense. The silence, the out of season snow, and the strangest of all, the entire town wrapped in a thick fog. A. Cheryl's destination is. B. There's no one in town. Oh right, that was a choice, and I accidentally made it because I thought it was going to continue listing stuff. But yeah, no, there's thick fog. There's choices in this, and that determines what you do. I began to run. Only the sounds of my footsteps echo in the surroundings. Just where in the world has Cheryl gone? Did someone lead her away? I begin to run. Only the sounds of my footsteps echo in the surrounding. Those choices were pretty opaque. Yeah, I don't think they get better. I assure you, there will be plenty to get mad about. But if I'm remembering one specific ending to this, and I don't remember how to get to it, but it's batshit insane, and I'm hoping we accidentally blunder our way into it. Because I've watched somebody play this before, but I've never played all of it. I got to like a decent point in it, but not that far. Just where in the world has Cheryl gone? Did someone lead her? Oh, various concerns run through my mind. Ta 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 ta. Onomatopoeia for footsteps. I suddenly get the feeling I heard footsteps other than my own, so I stopped moving. Right. I love how it says onomatopoeia for footsteps. A way to check it out. Throughout the thick fog, I see a figure that is about the size of a child. Cheryl? Without a thought, I cry out. The figure doesn't move at all. At the moment I begin to move slowly towards the figure, it starts to run. I fiercely chase after the figure. That's definitely Cheryl. Even though it is faint, I would not mistake someone else for Cheryl. However, no matter how much I run, I cannot catch up. Instead, the figure is gradually getting further and further away from me. The figure puts on speed as if it is gliding through the air. The figure appears to be absorbed by the fog as it begins to disappear. In order to not lose it, I run with all of my strength, while keeping my vision centered on the figure. Then I notice I've come to an alley surrounded by buildings. I don't know how, but it is like a cover was placed over the sky, which had provided light until now, and the area becomes engulfed in darkness. From the darkness, I can hear multiple footsteps coming this way. I don't know who it is. I will take a look. I don't know who it is. I will take a look. I'm going to get out of here. I don't have anything with me that can be used as a weapon. What are we thinking, y'all? Do we take a look? So what are we thinking? Look, no balls. Got ya. We will take a look. And howdy, Extra. How are you? I stood ready. What are they? With beast-like rays, they have closed in to right where I am. And then my vitality is sucked away by these strangely shaped monsters until I finally lose consciousness. I'm tired as usual. Understandable. Being awake sucks. Sybil Bennett. She is a full-time police officer working in the neighboring town of Brahms. There was no one else in the cafe other than her and Harry. She took a seat at the counter and waited for Harry to awaken. I suddenly awoke. Where is this place? Why am I here? Was I brought here by someone? There's no boundary between dream and reality. Just confusion. It's a good descriptor for my day today. As I lay on the bench seat in the cafe, my eyes slowly begin to focus. The woman sitting at the counter stands and folds her arms. She walks over and looks down at me. Hello, officer. She's wearing a police uniform. The woman smiles a bit as she appears to be relieved that I have regained consciousness. It looks like you have come around. Who are you? Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like you've come around. Who are you? I try talking to the unfamiliar woman. I'm Sybil Bennett. I'm here because all communication with this town suddenly went dead, so I came to investigate. I'm Harry Mason. I brought my daughter to this town for some sightseeing, but on the way there was an accident and I lost consciousness. Oh yeah, Sybil, you haven't seen a little girl in this town, have you? Extra fucks with me so hard on that, because I'm so bad at noticing the little changes, because a lot of it, like, it's just kind of me sight reading, and, I'm not good at that. A little girl? No, I haven't. Don't try to mess with you, you're just old. It's not that I'm old, it's that I'm stupid. There's a difference, extra. Like, the problem is that I'm dumb. Come on, keep up. A little girl? No, I haven't seen her. When I came to after the accident, my daughter was nowhere to be seen. The passenger door was open and she was gone. You can be both. I am both, but particularly this specific one is, because I'm dumb. Cheryl, sorry, my daughter's name is Cheryl. She's a timid person, so it's hard to imagine that she headed out into this weird town alone. Plus, I was there in the driver's seat. Since she gave me no warning, it just doesn't make sense. Are you familiar with this area? There's no sign of anyone. What is going on with this snow? At this time of year? Just what in the world has happened in this town? I said all of this while breathing deeply. I'm afraid I don't know either. I still haven't seen anyone other than you. It's like the town is as silent as a graveyard, left without even the means to contact any neighboring towns. I see. A lot of people actually think that, Sylvan, because of the movie. The movie made it a point to make it ass and like kind of base it off Centralia. And a lot of people to this day, it doesn't help that every like listicle or like every like fun fact about Silent Hill pretty much says like, did you know Silent Hill is based off of a real life town called Centralia, Pennsylvania? And it's like, no, the Silent Hill in the movie is based off of Centralia, Pennsylvania. The real life Silent Hill was not. I think it actually is Buffalo, like New York or something. Like the map is actually very close to like Buffalo, New York or something like that. And it's set in Maine. But yeah, it's snow in the game. But yeah, no, that, like, a lot of people think that. To this day, even. Like, a lot of people who are, like, actual, like, fans of the series still kind of, like, pass that around as, like, as though it's true, and it's not. But yeah, no, a lot of people think that, though. Like, you're not alone on that one. You also had an accident, right? I thought it was a good idea to head to the police station in this town alone on my motorcycle. Which also maintain the movie is still one of the better video game movies. I was on a walk yesterday and a wasp landed on me. I'm sorry for your loss, extra. I hate when white Anglo-Saxon Protestants land on me. I was terrified. Yeah, I mean, honestly, yes. Like, we've been getting them real bad at work lately, too. So, like, it's not much better there. I've been stung by a wasp and I won't let it happen. I don't trust it. It don't feel good. Wasp coming for your white collar jobs, exactly. But I guess I was going a little too fast. A girl suddenly jumped out into the road, and I'm pretty sure it was a girl. Almost hit her. I cut the handlebars hard in order to avoid her. After that, I could barely remember anything. When I came to, I was lying in the street in front of this cafe. So naturally, I came in here to get out of the snow, and then found you sleeping there. I was having some kind of terrible dream. As for if I made it here on my own, I don't remember at all. Just what in the world has happened in this town? What is going on with everything? Well, the situation is definitely strange, but I will head back to Brahms for reinforcements and then return here. How about you? Sybil stood and fixed her collar with resolute fortitude.
He bends, he stretches, even ties and knots, but always returns to his original shape.
Drink full and listen.
I forgot to refill my water. Nope, that one's almost empty. No. Luckily, I didn't drink all of my water at work today, so I have another bottle. But oh god, everything popped. And that one. But thank you for the stretch, hydrate, and Daddy's Home Extra. I am setting the timer now. Alright. Fix her collar with resolute fortitude. I've got to look for Cheryl. There's no way I can just leave her here alone. I see. Well, I'll give you this then. You never know what might happen under these circumstances. If you feel threatened, then pull the trigger without hesitating. I take the gun into my hand. Thanks. I hope I don't have to use it. Thank you, but I'm no good with guns. I'm not even going to ask you guys. We're taking the gun. I mean, having never handled a handgun before, I'm surprised by how heavy it is. Like, I know there's monsters. We're taking the gun. But you will be alright. But will you be alright? I'm not like the other girls. I have undergone proper training. Imagine not taking the gun. I gotta imagine, like, I'm sure that something wacky happens if you don't have the gun, but, like, it's also really cool that, like, how could you not take it? I hit select option B. That would make it so I don't take it. What's really cool is I've never seen this artwork of Civil before. Like, I've never seen that 3D model of her in that profile, like, off to the side rather than facing forward. So that tells me that they used, like, they had pretty good access to, like, the models when they made this, which is interesting. Civil placed her hand on the exit door, but then she turns and faces me. Harry, don't go shooting me by mistake or anything. I haven't had any training on how to stop bullets. She smiled after saying, I'm sorry I couldn't hear you over the sound of me pointing a gun at you. This and then disappeared into the dark, thick fog. After being alone, isn't Sybil the sex toy thing? I'm going to need you to narrow that sentence down for me, Sylvan, because... Pardon? I don't quite follow on that one. Oh, do you mean the weird doll things I posted in the Discord the other day? No, they didn't have a Sybil one. That would be weird if they had a Sybil one, because Sybil is, I think, almost literally... You sit, and it vibrates. I believe that's called something else, but I don't know what it's called, so I can't say with certainty. I think I know what you're talking about, but I think that's something else, and I do think it has a different name. After being left alone in the cafe, I gazed at the handgun Sybil gave me. I felt powerful. Like I was able to do anything. I've never felt more like a man than when I held this gun that this woman gave me. My life had been a lie. I knew how things would go. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent there. And then I thought about Cheryl, who had disappeared into this town. The figure I saw in the fog was definitely Cheryl. But she didn't answer. There you go. Isn't that a symbol? Isn't that a symbol company that all the drummers use? But she didn't answer my calls, and she was quite possibly moving away from me. I don't understand. Am I getting a bit mixed up? Still, the one thing I know for sure is that... Pardon me. One thing I know for sure is that Cheryl has vanished in this town. Oh, God, my hip. All I can do is look for her. I may not have any knowledge of the surroundings or any clues, but I got this gun and I will find things. Thank you. But I will find Cheryl if I stay here. I stood up, energetically, and placed my hand on the cafe door. Something's making a noise. I'm proud of you. Something is making a noise. Huh? Damn it, you noticed. I told you I was setting the alarm. I physically said it, so I knew I would do it. Want to freeze Daddy's own content. I'm sure that won't be the only one you do today. Yeah, your other 5 chances. Man, have you seen Audition? It sounds like the sound the girl makes in that movie. Oh! Is Audition the one with, like, the curse and it's found footage? 'Cause I feel like I heard about that. Or is that the zombie one? Because I feel like I'm confusing 2 movies here. Because I heard about it, and it sounds real good if it's the one I'm thinking of with the, with, like, the found footage and the curse. I've heard that's real good, and I haven't gotten around to seeing it yet. No, Japanese horror movie. You're thinking of Wreck or Quarantine. I'm not thinking of Wreck or Quarantine. It's like a, I don't think it's Japanese, though. I think it's, Korean, the movie I'm talking about. Where, there's this curse, and they has something to do with a child. It's supposedly very good, and, like, the curse kind of kills people over time. And they have, like, a whole rhyme for it. It's like, but it's a found footage movie, and supposedly it's very good. Not me looking for the YouTuber I saw do the review of it not too long ago that made me want to watch it. What do you call me? All right, but what are we picking? Are we gonna what's that noise? It's somewhere somewhere inside the cafe or outside? I know the correct answer. I just want to know if you guys are gonna while I look for this. I'm thinking the movie Incantation, outside the cafe. Anybody else have a take on it? I'm thinking the movie Incantation. That's the one I'm thinking of. It looks real good. I'm fairly certain that's the one. I'm looking at thumbnails to try to see if it's the one I'm thinking of. Cafes are outside the cafe. Cafes are safe and sacred. All right, let's go look outside for it. Gotta watch audition. Never going on a blind date again. Sylvan, I don't go on blind dates now. Nope, nobody wants to date this. I open the door and hurry outside, out into the street. The snow still continues to fall. I breathe in the cold outside air, and it feels like waking up. The noise I just heard until now has stopped. Is the wind drowning it out? My question was soon answered. Through the glass, I can see that a radio has been placed on top of a table inside the cafe. Is it that? I immediately went back inside the cafe. Sylvan, you picked wrong. The noise has stopped. Thinking that it may come in handy for something, I slide the portable radio into my pocket and once again walk towards the cafe's exit. I like how it's like, no, you have to take the radio with you. After leaving the cafe, I decided to first head towards the alley from before. Black flying figures fly about the heavens as if searching for prey. Then I come to realize a constant. The static on the radio changes based on their movements. The closer the monsters come to me, the louder the static gets. My sight is hindered by the fog on top of that. The weather is so bad that the snow is falling. So this is extremely important information. I run through the snow that appears to have no intention of stopping, increasing my speed each time the static comes on the radio. I proceed into the fog. Following the thin thread of my memory, I finally arrive at the alley from before. The evil atmosphere is dissipated, and light pours in along with snow from between the buildings. Move into the alley, and it dead ends after a bit. At the end of the alley, I see a familiar sketchbook that appears to have been thrown away. The likeness of me that Cheryl drew is on the cover of the sketchbook. Looks just like him. The resemblance is uncanny. This is definitely Cheryl's. Sketchbook opens. I try opening it. Inside, the following is written in red ink. To school. Along 11th Street, I slip through the back door of a house that had a doghouse, and then head for the school. The surrounding gradually fill with darkness, and only the flashlight on my chest illuminates this strange street. Weird that he opened the book backwards, like he's Japanese. I didn't even catch that. I did notice it opened backwards, but I was like, all right, yeah, it's a kid's book. Myers just drawn on it upside down or some shit. But no, like the words were written legibly. I passed through the entrance to the elementary school grounds. When I open the door that leads into the school building, I see that even more darkness is waiting for me inside. It is possible that Cheryl scribbled those letters to school. I can't be sure whether Cheryl is here or not. It's just that I haven't a clue other than that sketchbook. A guide map of the school has been tacked to the sidewall of the entrance. With a rust with a rusted thumbtack. That is a hard sentence. After removing the map from the wall, I place it in my pocket and push open the heavy door that leads to the interior of the school building. I actually think this is scarier than the actual game. Like, it's so dark. My footsteps and the creaking of the hallway, they sound like screams as their reverberations rock my eardrums. I'd been walking carefully, step by step, but without realizing it, I had begun to run. There's no sign of anyone in the silent innards of the school building. Are dark, and with only the flashlight on my chest, it is possible for me to see any of the details. Cheryl doesn't have a flashlight, so if she came in here and got lost, then she probably wouldn't even be able to walk around. Since I have my flashlight turned on, she should be able to notice me easily. At least I have that modest hope. I agree, reading horror with some ambient noise ages well. I mean, to be fair, like, the visuals on this also don't look horrible. They look not great on my monitor, admittedly. But, like, watching it in the OBS preview, like, it doesn't look bad. Like, for a Game Boy Advanced game, it's alright. At least I have that modest hope. Then, I notice that I have come to the entrance to the music room. I place my hand on the heavy door. Let's wait till we see some monsters before passing judgment. I mean, we've seen 2 monsters so far. We've seen the ones with the knives for hands that replaced the gray children in other places where they weren't as cool with shooting what looks like children. And the flying monsters. We have seen 2. When I open the door, I see that the inside of the room is large, and there's a grand piano placed in its center. I sit on the chair of the piano. I am shocked. The seat is still warm, as if someone had been sitting here just a few minutes before. Someone's ass had radiated so much heat that the chair had stayed warm in this freak winter weather. Cheryl's smile runs through the back of my mind. Cheryl often played the cheap upright piano in our home. It had become nice background music when I was working. Perhaps Cheryl had come to the music room. I gently opened the cover over the piano keys. I noticed that there is red mixed among the black and white. I tried touching the liquid. Like a warm toilet seat in a public bathroom. Ugh. It has a lukewarm feel. It is still holding heat. It is definitely blood. My heart pounds in my chest like an alarm bell. The large amount of blood spilled on the keys. If this is Cheryl's blood, then she may no longer be alive. I wipe the stain off my hands onto my jeans. Stand and leave the music room. At the same moment I closed the door, I thought I heard someone scream. Maybe it was just my imagination. I walk down the hallway. The sleety mixture of snow pounds hard against the windows facing the courtyard. I take a look through the window down at the dark courtyard. The not so large courtyard is dotted with areas in which weathered plants are growing. In addition to an old clock tower is faintly visible. From here, I cannot determine what time the clock is pointing to. Wait. Something appears to be wriggling about in the darkness. An animal? No. It's dark and I cannot see so well. But it is slowly moving on 2 legs. It appears to be searching for prey. At that moment, the radio I had clipped to my chest suddenly began making noise. As I returned my sight to the hallway, a sharp pain runs through my thigh. When I look down, I see that the tips of those long claws are piercing my thigh. Those oddly shaped monsters. They are posed like they want to hug me, and have gathered around my waist. They're about to bite me. Choice time. Instantly pushed the monster away with my hands. Readied the handgun and fired. What are we doing, y'all? We pushing away the monster or are we firing? I'm thinking pushing the monster away. It's close. I don't know if shooting it's the right idea just yet. Fucking gat him. Alright, let's fucking gat him. I instantaneously readied the handgun I was carrying and fired at the monster. Oh! I hit it, but its long claws dug deeper into my thigh, widening the wound. With my right hand, I push on its head part with force and knock it away. It then totters and falls down on its face. That was when I noticed that I had been... I readied the handgun, I fixed my aim on their heads, and I pulled the trigger with my trembling index finger. I continued to shoot as each one of them pierced. The smoke from the gunpowder began to fill the air around me. I placed one hand over my mouth. Even after the noise from the radio had stopped, I could only stand there paralyzed in utter amazement. Among their corpses, is Cheryl all right? I think we missed a screen. It's very possible we missed a screen. I'm not gonna lie, it's real hard for me not to double tap the button because it's very sensitive for some reason. Like, it wants to go when you hit the button. She shouldn't have been carrying anything that could be used as a weapon. I begin running. I can't just stand around. There's not a moment to lose. Cheryl is waiting for me. Wait a minute. Suddenly, my vision becomes hazy, or something, and I rubbed my eyes. I look back. I see all of the bodies of the monsters have unexpectedly vanished. What? I was hallucinating. Was I hallucinating or something? I pull the guide map out of my inner pocket and shine the flashlight on it. And then I confirm that there is a boiler room located in the basement. My feet naturally begin to take me there. For reasons. Exactly, Sylvan. I descend the stairs to the basement, taking one step at a time. A school building without light. As I move forward, I am beset on all sides by absolute darkness. As I head towards the new fear and new enemies, my feet have no intention of stopping their advance. But oddly enough, I don't have a sense of justice. I just want to make sure that Cheryl is safe. To catch her in my arms, that is my only goal. Once again, Harry Mason, best dad. The boiler is not running. If I simply press the switch in front of me, this eerie machine should begin operating. However, I just stand still. I try pushing the switch. The boiler doesn't do anything at all. So I try opening the switchboard cover below the switch. It appears that I must somehow supply power from the main power supply to the boiler. The power supply is on the right. From the left of the switchboard is a thick pipe that extends out and is connected to the boiler. By like that, apparently. Got it. Not gonna lie, 100% winged that. Dick. Got it. I have an instinctive feeling that by pushing this switch, that something outrageous may happen. Although, at the same time, I also notice my daughter Cheryl's scream run through my heart, like a sense of duty that makes me feel that I must push the switch. I slowly push the switch in. The entire school building shudders as if it were a giant ship. The entire elementary school building appears as if it has been swallowed by Cheryl's heart. She stands alone in the darkness. I understand that I must do something to the courtyard. The darkness slowly whispers to me. I'm sorry. Yeah. And here we are. The clock tower looks to be about tall enough to reach the third floor of the school. At its base, there's a small door, about big enough for an adult to enter while bent down. The door solemnly opened. After opening, the door seems to beckon the one standing in front of it to enter. With an irresistible mental energy, I cannot resist that power. As I enter, the door closes with a hopeless thunder. Inside the clock tower, a physiologically loathsome stench hung in the air. Okay, sure. However, the smile of my beloved daughter in my heart loosens my uneasiness and lets me forget my fear, if even only for a moment. Words. Reassured, I placed my foot on the ladder leading underground with my greatest motive called love.
He bends, he stretches, even ties and knots, but always returns to his original shape.
I saw the Daddy's Home pop right before I started reading. I'm like, nope, the other two are coming, and I'm not going to bother reading if it's just going to get, I have my sound clips over it. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, stretch, and Daddy's Home extra. Oh, oh God, everything pops. While I'm standing, raise my chair again, because despite the fact that, I pretty much built another computer, new lights, I spend money on dumb shit. Still ain't bought a new chair, because it ain't like I have back problems and would benefit from having a new chair. Nope, my dumbass is just gonna keep going. The inside finally became a small passage about large enough for an adult. I run, trusting what I will see her smile ahead. I run forward, stomping on concrete stained with the smell of death. Once I climb the ladder at the end of the tunnel, there'll be no going back. I mutter Cheryl's name one more time. Fucking Cheryl. The depressing sound of the door closing echoes throughout the courtyard. Where am I? A raw, warm breeze brushes past my cheeks. The view lets me know that this is like a completely different world from the school was just in. Once again, translate it, not localized. Where am I? I descend the small stairs leading away from the clock tower and become even more convinced an extremely religious-looking design has been drawn in the center of the courtyard. Within a large double circle, a triangle has been placed, and within a strange pattern that looks like hieroglyphs is drawn. I don't remember this being here before, I mutter. This is definitely the school I was just in. The placement of the trees and the construction of the building. However, an overpowering feeling of nausea rises up throughout my body. A revolting, horrible smell, like that of the stench of cutting into rotten meat, thickly wafts throughout the air and is nearly visible to the eye. You know how bad something's got to smell for you to be able to see it? I begin to run. I can no longer bear to stay in this spot. By the time I place my hand on the door that leads inside the school building, I no longer have the strength left to tell how long I was running. Maybe it was only an instant. The school building has dramatically changed. Metal grated floors, blood-covered walls, corpse-like puppets hanging everywhere. It's like a Marilyn Manson video in here. It's like a nightmare scene in which everything is isolated from the real world. In spite of that, I run. I am searching for Cheryl. The unpleasant metallic sounds of my footsteps resonating throughout the inside of the school. And then I open the door to the teacher's room. Perhaps the door is not installed correctly, but it took me several forceful tries to force it open. Once I enter the room, I'm shocked. This is desks strewn about, and a raw, rotten stench rules the room. A. Call the police to get help. B. Call home, where no one should be. What am I doing? I know one of those sounds creepier than the other. I kind of want to call home and see where no one will be. Where no one should be. Because I feel like somebody's going to answer the phone at my house. It's going to be creepy. Right? Like, the reasoning for that works. I'm thinking this one. We're going to go with this one. Without knowing why, I dialed my home number, where no one should be. Maybe there's a sense that Cheryl has already returned home. With slight hope, I... Onomatopoeia for ringing phone. The phone is ringing. The mechanical electrical sound repeats. Over and over. Then, all of a sudden, it stopped. Hello? The voice of a man I do not know escapes from the receiver. Hello? Who is this? From the receiver, I hear a gasp. Click. The phone went dead, and I stood bewildered for a bit, with the receiver pressed against my ear. If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again. Spooky. Alright. The phone went dead and I stood bewildered for... I read that. There is a man in my house. Like in Lost Highway. There's a man in my house where no one should be. A man I don't know. I gently hang up the receiver, and for a bit, I'm captivated by that blue telephone. I begin to leave the room. I'm in your house, right? Jury. My heart rapidly contracts. The mechanical bell sound echoes throughout the room. I nervously approach the telephone, and once again, pick up the receiver. Daddy? Help me, Daddy. It's Cheryl. There is no mistaking it. I firmly press the receiver against my ear. Daddy, where are you? Cheryl? Is this Cheryl? At that moment, Cheryl's voice relapsed with a busy signal. Replaced with a busy signal. I knew it. I think Cheryl is here. Being located in a residential area, many children probably come to the school. The interior of the elementary school is larger than I imagined, including classrooms. There are a lot of rooms, so locating Cheryl will be extremely difficult. If Cheryl wasn't brought here by somebody, instead came here of her own free will, then perhaps she might be in that one room. I spin around, run to the stairs at the end of the hall, and then sprint up them. I've come to the library, and my eyes are drawn to the open book here. It was A, a children's book, B, a pharmaceutical book, C, a directory of religious science, a dictionary of religious science. What are we thinking, y'all? What book is it? Yeah, I feel like this isn't a good version of like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. Because in all reality, it's asking me to pick what a thing is. When in all reality, it should be I am able to pick my reaction to a thing. I'm able to pick what I do about a thing. I don't think I should be able to pick what a thing is. You know? Like, I know what it's supposed to be. Like, in the game, it's a children's book. But I don't know what happens when you pick other things. Which... Like... Hold on, can I... What's this one? Source of the noise. Okay, so this was our first choice. I wonder... Because this one directed us to outside the cafe. I wonder if there's like another thread. Drugs book. A pharmaceutical book. A pharmaceutical book. White Claudia. A perennial herb found near water. Reaches a height of 30 to 40 centimeters. Oblong leaves, white blossoms. Seeds contain hallucinogen. Ancient records show it was used for religious ceremonies. The hallucinogenic effect was key. The next page is all blurred. Tis. D from the above mentioned White Claudia. Der has you to perform extra. It's a very viscous liquid red color. And this admits remedy illness for which the cause is not. I become gripped with the sense that my actions may have been controlled by someone this entire time. Coming to the library, seeing that specific page in the open book, even whatever it is that I must do now, is a decision that is out of my hands. Everything that has happened has been in someone else's hands. I have gradually come to understand this. Even still, I probably cannot determine my own course. I accept the direction of the unseen one, to whom I must obey. In order to find Cheryl, there is no other alternative. I now know where it is I need to go. As I journey there, I walk firmly, stepping forward one step at a time. I descend a staircase from which uncomfortably warm air flows, and find an elevator at its base that invites me to descend even further as its door slowly opens. Once I enter, its doors close, and the next moment, with a rusty clunk, the sound of the elevator begins to descend at a high rate of speed. Just how far down is it going? All I can do is go with the flow. Wow. Yeah, that got kind of meta for a minute. That's weird. Gradually, the elevator and I are enveloped in hot, humid air. The elevator stops and I step off as its doors open. Beyond a short passage, a dazzling light emitted from a small room. A small room which has been waiting for my arrival. At the center, the fires of hell burned, and everything made it look like this room was meant for prayer. And then it was there. It slowly moved around the enormous scene, the enormous sconce from which flames and ash rose. The lizard looks to have suddenly mutated. Its outer shell is a mucous membrane type. It just stares at me, and with surprisingly comfortable, I close my eyes and listen. Surprisingly comfortable speed, it looks for a chance to attack. Here, I fired the gun at its large body. So anyway, I started blasting. I'm no match for this enemy with the weapon I'm carrying. Running is the best option. Oh, neither of these are the right course of action. I'm going to run away. I choose to run away. I was overwhelmed by its size. I've got to escape. I don't stand a chance with the feeble weapon in my pocket. I look for an escape route. However, the entrance I came through was now closed by a thick, solid metal fence, without any opening which I could slide through. I cannot escape. At that moment, a part of my memory was suddenly awakened. Definitely, in the library, in the teacher's room, in the library, I remember that book I just picked up not too long ago. Its contents run about in my head while paying very close attention to the movements of my opponent. I recall its passages. White Claudia, perennial herb found near water, reaches height of 30 to 40 centimeters, oblong leaves, white blossoms. Seeds contain hallucinogen. Ancient records show it was used for religious ceremonies. The hallucinogenic effect was key. An herb with hallucinogenic effect, however, no measure for dealing with the monster that I am now faced with were written in the book. I'm in danger when I return to my senses. Its wide open mouth right in front of me, opened in a way that suggested it planned to swallow me whole. It's too late. I was caught by its mouth, easily lifted and crushed by its teeth as I fell inside. So if we had read the children's book, it probably would have told us about the monster, and then we would have known that wait for it to open or trick it into opening its mouth, and then shoot it in the mouth, and it dies. Like you do in the game. When I came to, I found myself in the middle of a dark room. Where is this? I wondered to myself. The monster from before had vanished. I heavily stood up, and then waited motionless for a bit until my eyes came into focus. Somehow this looks to be the boiler room. It is oddly quiet. Maybe I was dreaming. My very exhausted body seems to have also recovered somehow. The low hum of the boiler strangely calms my nerve. Then I sense the presence of a person, and I shift my gaze. There was a girl standing there. She was wearing dark blue clothing, and her light brown hair was neatly combed. The girl was just staring right at me. Once I noticed her and began to step towards her, she completely disappeared, as if her body just dissolved into the air of the room. I was alone, again, in the room. What was that? A strange feeling of relief. After standing for a bit, I let out a low breath and then placed my hand on the door at the entrance. Sunlight is shining into the hall of the school building. As usual, the snow is outside, but I'm gripped with a strange feeling of relief, as if cancerous cells had just been removed from me. Filled with relief, I slowly walk towards the exit of the school building, and then I learn that Cheryl is not here, from the loud sound of church bells that seem to call out to me. I begin to run towards the church on the road half covered in mud. Snow falls above my head, some of which freezes my hair as chilly air flows by. When I reach the church, I push open the heavy door without hesitation. Dahlia Gillespie? A cross is mounted on the front wall. Long benches are lined up on both sides of a small walkway. It was as if time had stopped for this familiar style church. In front of the altar, a sly-looking woman with cold eyes looked down at me with an eerie grin. As I walked up to her, stepping one step at a time, she gazed at me without blinking. She looked as if she had predicted that I would arrive. Were you ringing that bell? The woman sneered with a I've been expecting you. It was foretold by gyromancy. What are you talking about? I knew you'd come. You want the girl, right? The girl? You're talking about Cheryl. My eyes grew wide. I see everything. You know something. Tell me. Stay back. The woman held the palm of her hand out at me, and then lowered her chin in a way that suggests, please calm down. Nothing is to be gained by floundering about at random. You must follow the path of the hermit, concealed by the flowers. What? What are you talking about? I asked once more without hiding my bewilderment. Here, the flowers, a cage of peace. It can break through the walls of darkness and counteract the wrath of the underworld. These will help you. Make haste to the hospital before it's too late. The woman held up a strange object and then softly placed it on the desk on top of the altar. Wait, don't go yet. I will. A, believe the woman's story. B, her story was unclear and I don't understand it. I cannot just carelessly believe her. I don't know about y'all, but I believe women. That's a horrible joke, and I'm sorry about it. She lives here. I choose to believe her story without objection. All that remains in the source is the reverberations of the sound of a door closing. I go after that woman. I'm convinced that that woman definitely knows some secret of some sort. However, the knob on the door she went through will not turn at all. It must be locked from the other side. Damn! Now I'm the only one left in the source, almost as if taken from a nightmare. This space has heat. This warmth feels like it's protecting me from something. That is the best way to describe the heat. I move away from the door and begin walking to the altar that woman was at. The object the woman was just holding has been placed there. The flowers. That is certainly what that woman had called this. I try picking it up, and then I place it back on top of the desk right away. It is power. The overwhelming power of the gods rests inside this four-sided object. It was a sensation like an electrical current passing into the palm of my hand, and then power moving throughout every nook and cranny in my body. I pick it up once more. This time I calmly take it into my hand and then place it into my pocket. For some reason, I'm convinced that this object will help me find Cheryl. Pick up the key that was next to the flowers, open the door of the source, and rush out into the heatless snow world again. Hospital. But that woman certainly said something about one. Alchemia Hospital is the only hospital I could find on the map. Was that one? I could see my breath as I exhaled while I headed towards the entertainment district. The bridge to the entertainment district has been raised so that boats can pass by it in the river below. In other words, it is split in the middle and is fixed in a raised position that makes it look like the Japanese katakana character. I'm not even going to begin to guess how I should pronounce that. I entered a nearby drawbridge controls room, placed the key I was holding into the control panel, and forcefully turned it to the right, while emitting a sound like an old woman laughing. The bridge finally begins to lower, inviting me to the entertainment district. After crossing the bridge, I shudder. The temperature is gradually declining. Or maybe I'm just a bitch. Or maybe it is just a result of the thing inside me that produces nervousness and fear. On this wide road, there is not a single motorcycle running. I am running right down the center of it. That's weird that he would specifically say there's not a single motorcycle on this road. If I continue forward, Alchemia Hospital should be on the right. An old building appears in the thick fog. On the signboard, Alchemia appears in faded letters. Its eeriness caused me to hesitate for an instant. But in the next moment, I placed my hand on the cold gate. I opened the heavy hospital gate and then opened the door directly to my right that has entrance written on it. The inside of the hospital is wrapped in silence. To the left, there's a reception area in which various papers are neatly placed on a shelf. Waiting benches are lined up along the back of this hall, and a television is pointed at them. I do not feel the presence of any patients or even any people. Only faint light pours in through the windows from the cloudy sky. The hall is filled with a trace scent of alcohol, which penetrates my nose. I begin walking. After passing through the waiting room, I reach a long corridor. I open the door marked examination room. Holy shit, he's got a gun. At almost that exact same time, as I opened the door, a man inside jumped out of his chair. He's holding a handgun in his right hand. I A, hid behind the door in panic, immediately counterattack with my gun. We're immediately counterattacking. Fuck Kaufman. I instantly ready my gun. That plump man appeared to realize that I was a human. As soon as he saw the gun, his eyes grew wide. Hold it. Stop. Don't shoot. Wait. I'm not here to fight. After I lowered my gun, the man sat down in his chair in a way that showed that he was relieved. Thank God. Another human being. My name's Harry Mason. I'm in town on vacation. Do you work here? The man nodded, was truly relieved. Silent Hill, which has become a habitat for strange monsters. This is my first contact with somebody from this town. I'm Dr. Michael Kaufman. I work at this hospital. So maybe you can tell me what's going on. That man who called himself Kaufman once again sits in the chair he was sitting, stirs in the chair he was sitting in. I really can't say. I was taking a nap in the staff room when I woke up. It was like this. Everybody seems to have disappeared, and it's snowing out. This time of year? He looks off at the floor of the examination room. There, on the floor, the corpse of a still warm monster lay on its side. Something's gone seriously wrong. Did you see those monsters? Have you ever seen such aberrations? Even heard of such things? You and I both know creatures like that don't exist. Yeah. And then I turned to face him as I realized something. Have you seen a little girl anywhere? I'm looking for my daughter. She's only 7. Short, black hair. She's missing? I'm sorry, but with all these monsters around, I highly doubt that she's... Sorry. I don't mean to alarm you. Your wife, she's here with you? She died 4 years ago. Now it's just me and my daughter. I see. I'm sorry. Well, I'd better be going. I can't just sit around here doing nothing. So long. Good luck out there. Bang. The examination room door shuts powerlessly. Dr. Michael Kaufman. Oddly enough, I've completely memorized that name. Huh? I suddenly noticed that there is something on the floor that looks like a white scrap of paper. What's this? I pick it up. Letters have been disorderly scribbled on it. Arrival tomorrow morning. Be prepared. What is this? What do you think? Should we try to return his note to him, or do we check to see if there's anything else? This isn't a thing in the game, so I'm interested to see where this goes. I think this is about where I stopped. I don't think I made this choice. Let's oh, interesting. Let's go after Kaufman. I leave the examination room. Kaufman is nowhere to be found. I begin to run. I pass through the medicine room and reach a planked floor corridor. Silently extends in an L shaped. I move forward and found what was there. An elevator with a large door at the end of the corridor. I try pressing the buttons beside it. Nothing happens. Looks like the power is off. There are several doors in the corridor. I begin opening each one in order. I open the one marked meeting room, head inside and close the door behind me. A large table rests on the center of the room, and I notice that there is something glittering on top of it. I grasp the light green key, leave the room, and once again step into the silly corridor. The next room looks like a kitchen, I guess. That the food patients probably prepared here. Various bronze cooking utensils are neatly arranged in order on the stainless steel countertops. It does not appear that anything terribly important is in here. I carefully look through the various cooking utensils. Inside a large pot, there is nothing at all. While continuing to search, I see if there might be a clue here or not. I notice that on the far wall, various objects have been scattered about. Carefully, I move forward on the wet floor so as not to trip. Something is there. I reach out my hand towards the thing in front of me. Let's pick up the... I know which one of these I actually need. But I want to kind of start making bad decisions. Let's pick up the kitchen knife. Pick up the kitchen knife that appears to be for kitchen use. Perhaps this will come in handy for something. I only have a limited number of bullets. When the time comes, I might be able to use this as a weapon. I left the kitchen. I crept out into the corridor once more and stood in front of the door that was closest to the elevator. I opened the door and the reverberations of the sounds of opening and then closing shake my eardrums. The walls are made out of concrete, and a few steps in, a staircase leading to the basement extends like the folds inside the body of a snake. That's a hell of a way to describe that. The dark and difficult to see, but it looks like there's a door at the bottom of the staircase. Be brave, I mutter to myself, leaving only echoes of my footsteps. I descend the staircase to hell, one step at a time, and then I open the door, leading to darkness. I could see that the electricity was most likely out in the entire hospital. I pressed the switch on the flashlight on my chest and tried lighting the area. It is creepy, and yet there's nothing noticeably out of place. Chilly air drifts from the cold concrete, and it seems as if touching would completely rob my body of its warmth. While moving through the corridor, I try opening the doors as I come to them. Of them, one opens with a creak. Emergency generators is written on the machines that occupy most of the room. To reach the second floor and above, it did look like there was any method other than using the elevator. So without hesitation, I turned the machine on. Fucking Harry, constantly just starting up fucking generators and shit in buildings. Oh, I'm sleepy. I immediately head for the elevator. I press the up button. The heavy sound of the motor and the sounds of the metal parts coming into contact with each other almost sound like intertwined screams. With a ding, the elevator stops and its doors slowly open. Inside the elevator is the inside of the elevator is large. It seems to be about big enough to accept 3 hospital beds. Buttons for each floor are lined up to the right of the elevator door. They are marked 321. and B from the top down. First, I head to the second floor. However, after I step off the elevator, I find that the door to the connected corridor of the rooms on this floor is locked. With no alternative, I try heading to the third floor, but I find it is the same. Well, what now? I've already tried moving to every floor with nothing else to do. I re-entered the elevator and could not believe my eyes. Of the buttons for each floor, 3 was definitely the highest floor. Just before. In spite of that, a new 4 button has been added. The elevator doors open with a familiar sound, and I step out to the 4th floor. Again, I think? A condition extremely similar to that which I encountered after passing through the basement in the clock tower at the elementary school was present right in front of me. Dark red rusted walls, metal grated floors, and a ringing in my ears that seems to creep up from the depths of hell is a menace to my mental state. I open the door in front of me, and the long corridor extends beyond it. I very carefully move forward while keeping my eyes fixed on the wall. Could Cheryl be here? The only way to find out is to search this place. Huh? I can hear something in the darkness in front of me. It sounds like the groan of something dragging on the ground. The owner of that groan is slowly closing in on me, but I cannot see what it is for sure. With the faint light of my flashlight, I instantly ready my gun and leave the area. Let's ready my gun. It is probably not human. I firmly grip the gun, position my finger on the trigger, and begin to walk forward. Oh, God. Walk towards it with the gun readied beside my face. Eventually, something white enters my field of vision. I adjust the aim, the flashlight on my chest with my hand, and shine the light on it. A white figure appeared, which is stooped over like an old woman. It looked to have undergone a grotesque change. The monster has a very large hump on its back, which twitches and moves as if it were alive. In one hand, it holds a knife. It waves as it approaches me. In an instant, I readied my gun. The monster began to run. By the time I realized this, it slashed at me. I instantly dodged the attack. And thanks to that, my clothes were slashed. And I had only a scratch on my thighs. I suppose I was lucky. Damn! I kick it in the face with the bottom of my shoe, and it falls down on its back, then begins to stand for its next attack. I close my left eye, steady my aim, and even after one shot hits, its movement does not change at all. I fire more bullets at it. It is laughing, in a voice great enough to shake the entire world. It laughs as its face twists and distorts. I cannot give up. When the final bolt loaded into my gun hits, it finally stops laughing. This time, it is face down. I begin crushing it with my foot. Finally, it completely stops moving. This is insane. Another monster approaches from behind the corpse of the first one. At this rate, all the bullets in the world would not be enough. All I can do is run. Which monster am I going to run? Run past the one in front of me. I feel like turning is probably a bad idea. I begin to run forward, the monster in front of me, evading the large swings of its knife. I run down the dark corridor, occasionally stumbling. I see a staircase leading down. I race down it. Not whether if something is waiting for me or not at its base. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop extra. Okay. Thank you for the daddy's home extra.
He bends, he stretches, even ties and knots, but always returns to his original shape.
Full and descend.
Waited for me to get comfortable, didn't you? Got him. Goddamn right you did. You did get me on that one. Uh, all right. Thank you for the hydrate stretching, Daddy's home. Hitting the timer now. I see a staircase leading down. I race out. Oh, I already read this. I'm thinking about Cheryl. Even if she is held prisoner somewhere in this hospital, there's no guarantee that I can rescue her. In fact, there's no reason that the staircase I'm sitting on should lead me to Cheryl. I don't need it. Just trust me, bro. Well, to be fair, I technically have a backup timer too. Because on my Twitch feed, it says you redeemed something, and it says 1 minute ago. So, like, I usually go by that if I forget the timer. But I usually notice it about when it's like 8 minutes. I begin to think all of my current actions are all meaningless. Shame. However, generally speaking, since I arrived in Silent Hill, no, since the day before leaving for Silent Hill, no, even longer ago, since the day I met Cheryl, perhaps I've had no choice in my actions, that they have been determined by someone's will. By the someone's will. As I continue to the base of the stairs, I contemplate, what if my life, up to this point, had just been one track? As I descended the stairs, my ears begin ringing again. The ringing is so forceful that it cannot even be compared to before, and it forces me to squat down. Turn about 15 minutes for more routines. Thanks, Extra. What in the world has happened? Perhaps I opened a door to hell, a door that should never be opened. Something is clearly changing, and it is for the worst. Going back will not be permitted. I must move forward. I put my hands together on my head, and then squeeze my temples tightly by using my elbows. Okay. The ringing begins to sound like a demon is whispering in my ears. However, it doesn't stop. I blindly begin to run. Even if I am to die in this mad land, I must save my beloved Cheryl first. Believing that the answers are beyond the door, I know that I must discover at least one clue. Several overlapping square figures are shaking in time with the sound of my heart. It is the wall at the end of the area. Another wall lies perpendicular to it. There is a door present on this wall with a plate on it that says storehouse. I know how to read. Shut up, I know how to read. Some chemicals have been placed on the table that is next to the door. There are 3 beakers of different sizes and a test tube. The test tube contains a liquid that is of different color to that which is in the leftmost beaker. I found a memo. To create it, you must come up with 1 deciliter? The fuck's a deciliter of liquid and pour it into the test tube. No more, no less. That man had said, but there are no graduations on the beakers. This makes it impossible to come up with 1 deciliter using these 3 large beakers. Explanation of controls. Use the D-pad to select a beaker that contains liquid, then confirm with the A button. Then choose the beaker that you wish to move the liquid to, and press the A button to move the liquid. Using the 10 deciliter, 7 deciliter, and 5 deciliter beakers, you must create an amount of exactly 1 deciliter. Okay? It's one of those puzzles. Huh. The door won't budge an inch. What door is this? Oh, okay. Oh, thank God. I don't want to have to think and stand. Oh, Lord, my pants are stuck under my chair. All right. Let's see. All right, so I have 10. I need 1. All right. That's 3, so I'm going to do 5. That should give me 2. That's 8. And I'm going to take that 2, pour it into that. Then take that 8 and pour it into the 7. And there we go. Bob's your uncle. That's in Japanese. I don't know what that said. Harry melted the stain on the door with the complete liquid. The door slowly opens with a click. Inside the storehouse, nothing important looking stands out. I carefully edge between the simple metal shelves that have been placed here in a specific arrangement. However, nothing is here that makes this room worthy of being called a storehouse. I am drawn towards the cabinet in the back of this room. This is because I found the presence of a wooden cabinet strange and unsuitable for the simple room. I approach the cabinet and try to open it. However, it will not buzz. I will look at the floor under the cabinet. I will look inside of the cabinet. I will look on top of the cabinet. I know the answer to this, but let's look inside. I don't know what's inside of it. Putting force into my fist, I pounded the cabinet's small wooden doors until they broke. Inside, there is nothing of particular value. At that time, I noticed I could feel cold air coming from behind the cabinet. At the same time, I also noticed marks that looked like they had been left from dragging something on the floor. The marks on the floor are still fresh. They tell me that some other human probably came down here. Is there something beyond this cabinet? Using my body weight, I slowly pushed the cabinet from its original position. The existence of the inviting door behind the cabinet seems completely natural. So, of course, I place my hand on it. The room is very inorganic. While shining my flashlight about, I move through the room and eventually discover a grate in the floor. From between the bars, the grate, I can see a staircase that leads to a lower level. The grate makes a clunk sound as I open it. It is quite heavy. Even though I am sure of my strength, I do not believe that I could pick it up. After opening the grate enough so that I can pass through it, I gently place 1 foot on the staircase that has appeared. Slowly and cautiously, confirming each step as I go, I descend the staircase to a mad place in which light cannot reach. Finally, I reach a wide room, much wider than I imagined. I guess this is based on the echoes of my footsteps. Run. I am running through this eerie space that lies in the basement of the hospital. It is lifeless, and there is no light. All I can do is run through it. Does this world have an end? Or did it even have a beginning? Everywhere I go, all that I do is solve the mysteries that appear one after another and then move on. I understand this and expect that. The same situation will continue. Still, all I can do is move forward. My thinking always results in this conclusion. This door has awaited me. I slowly turn the knob inside of this room is different. The ones I've encountered up to this point, and I can feel life in here. There are traces and a sense that someone was in this room. I softly pick up the picture frame that was displayed on the desk, Alessa. That is engraved on the picture frame. I gaze at the picture. It is a face that I think I've seen somewhere. I try to remember where, as hard as I can, but in the end, I cannot remember at all. But I'm sure that I have met this girl somewhere, and more than just once. A diary has been placed next to the picture frame. I reach out with my hand. What do you think, diary or picture? Let's do the diary, because I don't know what the diary is. Something is written in the diary. April 15th. From today, this will be my new diary. Lisa secretly gave this to me as a present, and it means that soon I should be able to take my bandages off. A bird landed on a branch of the tree outside my window. I gazed at it for a bit. Seeing those beautiful colors, I thought again that it must be spring. I wish I could play outside like the other children. It is now afternoon, and they have come again. I pretend to be asleep, and it looks like they did not notice. They talk quietly, as not to be heard outside of my room. Do not understand the meaning of what they discussed. They never talk in this room. I thought. April 16th. Someone is talking outside of my room. It sounds serious, but it doesn't seem to be about me. Perhaps it's because he doesn't want to disturb me. Even the hospital director has not come to see me much lately. I don't like the director very much, so I'm honestly quite happy. April 16th, P.S. By some strange chance, I learned a certain person is coming to visit me. April 17th. Everyone has been in a rush for some reason since before sunrise this morning. Something about a dead person coming back to life. Does that really happen? It is a frightening story, and because of that, my meal was a little late. The cold soup is disappointing. Suddenly I remembered him. Maybe he's forgotten me, but I definitely remember him. Lately, I think of him often. I want to see him. It looks like my visitor is coming in the evening, on the day after tomorrow. Before then, just once. April 18th. It is finally tomorrow. I will not tell anyone about this. If I tell anyone, they will probably strap me to my bed. Before they arrive, the friend that can share my feelings. The only one. I wonder if she will realize this. Tonight I will go to bed early. April 19th. I must get out of here. For the first time in a while, I have worn my favorite pendant. Does it look good on me? I will write about the results here tomorrow. April 20th. Hey, 420. The last page is blank. I place the diary under my arm and prepare to leave the room. However, my eyes again return to the picture frame the diary has been placed next to. She was all alone, but I have Cheryl. The girl in the picture is appealing to me for something. In the painful silence, I can feel a spiritual message. After wavering, I removed the picture from the frame, slid it into my pocket, and then I left the room. Alessa. Just who is she? And why was she here? Why was her picture on display in the deep basement of this hospital? And where was that strange feeling of a life that I had sensed in that room coming from? Am I unable to figure any of it out? And so, I am irritated. I head for the examination room on the first floor. All the mysteries of the hospital are surely prepared in that room. Believing so, I race up the stairs while having difficulty breathing. When I open the door to the examination room, I feel the presence of a person and stop moving. The inside of the room is dark. Someone is here. Who is it? Slowly approach, fire the gun. So anyway, I started blasting. I raided the handgun. So there's more of you bastards. I can depend only upon my gun in this hospital, which has become a nest for the monsters. At the moment I was about to pull the trigger, a woman shrieked, "Wait! Don't shoot! I'm a human!" With my gun still readied, I carefully looked at the woman under the desk. What? What are you doing under there? Once the woman realized that I was a human, she ran towards me and threw her arms around me like a child would. Finally, someone else who's okay. After mumbling those words in a tearful voice, she held me more tightly. Who are you? My name's Lisa Garland. What's yours? Harry Mason. After we exchanged our simple introductions, I sat in a chair and she sat on the bed so that we were facing each other. The woman that called herself Lisa had blonde hair and an intelligent look to her. Maybe she might know something. At the moment I was about to speak, the woman began talking. Harry, tell me what's happening here. Where is everybody? I must have gotten knocked out. When I came to, everyone was gone. Her voice did not feel like it was coming from her body. It was accompanied by a strange reverberation. It's awful. So you don't know anything either? Great. I just don't get it. It's like this is all some kind of bad dream. As I select my words, I have a feeling that even my own words are not coming from my body. Let me ask you something. Yeah, a living nightmare. Let me ask you. Have you seen a little girl around here? Short, black hair, 7 years old? I mutter. Cheryl. In a voice that Lisa would not hear. A 7-year-old girl? What? She's your daughter? Yes. A 7-year-old girl? I can't say that I have. I was unconscious all this time. I'm sorry. That's alright. That was just as I expected, but I continue asking questions without showing my disappointment. Do you know anything about all that weird stuff in the basement? No. Why? Is there something down there? You don't know? Don't you work here? We're under strict orders to never enter the basement storeroom. After changing the subject to the hospital basement, I began to notice that my thoughts were becoming muddy. So I really don't know. What did you say was down there? Well, I try hard as I can to remember, but the painful sight of that room in the basement, however, trying to trace my memory back to that ringing, which had been gone for a while but returned to my ears, a sound like the bells of that church runs through my head. Damn, my head. What's wrong, Harry? Harry, let me help you. Harry? Snake! Harry! Lisa has vanished. After a while, I notice my body is freezing cold. It is as if I am dead, but I'm clearly conscious. Where's Lisa? I was definitely talking to her in this examination room. I no longer feel the evil presence that I felt in this room. No, in this entire hospital up until just before. From the window, soft light is pouring into the room. Was I dreaming? As I slowly get up, I hear the sound of a door opening. Instantly, I look towards the source of the sound. The creepy woman I met at the church was standing there, with an expressionless look in her eye. You were too late. It's you. Yes, Dahlia Gillespie. Tell me everything you know. What's going on? Darkness, she responds, before I was even done speaking. The town is being devoured by darkness. The woman continues while maintaining a devout look. Strength must overcome petty desires. Childish sleep talk. I knew this day would come. What are you talking about? I don't understand a word of this. Believe the evidence of your eyes. So I said to believe the evidence of my eyes? I understand. I'm in a situation in which I can only believe what I've seen with my own eyes. The other source is in this town. That is your destination. This is beyond my abilities. You only can stop it now. Have you not seen the crest marked on the ground all over town? That's what I saw in the schoolyard. What does it mean? It is the mark of Samael. Don't let it be complicated. Don't ever let it be complicated. She starts singing Avril Lavigne. Don't let it be completed. Hey, wait. Uh-oh. Ruh-oh. So, I think it crashed. But, sorry, we're 2 hours in. I think that's about where we'll wrap up. Unfortunately, I don't think I make good choices to get to the really wonky shit. Which is a shame. So I wanted there to be some really wonky shit. But yeah. Once again, just a heads up, I am taking a break next week. One of my coworkers going on vacation, and that's interesting. The sound's still working. One of my coworkers going on vacation for a week, and I'm splitting his shift, so it means I will be working from 6:30 in the evening till 6:30 in the morning. So I won't be able to stream next week. Sucks, but you know, Daddy needs the overtime, like I said earlier. So there won't be any streams next week. I'm going to try to do Sunday, but I am working Saturday as well, so Sunday's iffy as well. I will keep you all posted on the Discord. Speaking of which, if you enjoy this, you can find me at any one of these up here, or the easily clickable links right there in the chat, or down in the description below if you're watching this later on the YouTube. I plan on coming back and doing more of this, but I'm not sure when. This will be a thing where we just kind of, I think, do it at the end of a Silent Hill game. But I'm not sure. I have to use the bathroom, so I'm not going to delay leaving. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I will catch you later. Bye. I had a realization today because of a thing. Virgin blood does not mean the blood of a virgin. It means blood that hasn't been used in a sacrifice already. Or in a ritual already. And that makes sense. Because virgin olive oil isn't olive oil that nobody's fucked. No, don't believe. Hell no. I mean, to be fair, it ain't like I can buy slutty olive oil. I can't buy olive oil like, yeah, no, this olive oil gets around. What the? Ultimate testicle grinder. That's what they called me in high school. Nope, not happening. happy about that show. Hey, made a weak potion of explosion. But no, like, I feel like there's not enough places to, like, go as an adult if you don't have